Welcome back, Troglodytes, to the Trogly's Guitar Show. Today we have a 2007 Gibson Les Paul Studio in the Fireburst finish. Now this finish is very similar to one you'll find on the 68 reissues called Tri-Burst. It's not exactly the same, but it's probably the closest you're gonna get if you like this finish. So what makes this Les Paul Studio special is it has a gloss finish. It's not a satin finish studio like they had been doing a lot, and it has gold hardware. The finish itself is also considered a premium. This model is also chambered, so it makes this guitar really lightweight, for a Les Paul anyways. I mean, the average weight for a Les Paul is around 9 to 10 pounds. This one weighs 7 pounds 7 ounces. There's a lot of people out there that hate chambering, and I really feel it depends on the example. I find that I personally enjoy chambered studios, but I hate chambered standards. It might just be a mental thing, because when I think Les Paul standard, a certain sound comes to my head, and when you chamber out the guitar, it does change the tone. It brings it closer to a semi-hollow, but it's not quite as extreme as like the ES LPs. Everything else about this guitar is pretty standard though. You have the 490R neck pickup and the 498T in the bridge, so that's kind of your classic sounding pickups for Gibson. Your bridge is a little bit hotter than a PAF, but you get your traditional neck pickup tones out of it. This one has a two-piece maple top with a mahogany back and mahogany neck with rosewood fretboard. These studio models, they might not be as pretty, but when it comes down to it, I almost prefer the way a studio plays. There's something nice about having a simple guitar that doesn't have binding on the neck. Overall, these are great for somebody who wants a nice playing guitar that's in the sub $1,000 category, that is easy on your back and still has a good tone to it. So let's go ahead and hear how this example sounds. Now that we know how this guitar sounds, let's go ahead and review its condition. This guitar was definitely used for its purpose, a player's guitar. It's got quite a few nicks and dings and scratches pretty much all over this guitar. I grade this one as fair condition because of this. You can see you've got a lot of edge wear along the headstock, but the truss rod works just fine. The fretboard is in good shape, your frets just show very minor wear. You've got a slightly lighter colored rosewood on this one. I kind of like the look of the lighter fretboard when it's paired with this Fireburst finish. I almost feel that a darker one would make it look a little bit out of place. Now when I got this guitar, it was just absolutely filthy. I cleaned this up the best I could, but as you can see, there's lots of picking scratches and polishing swirls. and other little marks in the finish that I couldn't polish out. I'm not quite sure what caused them, but they're just kind of like little splotches. It's almost like something reacted to the finish slightly. Your plastic knobs have some very slight cracking around the barrels of them. That's quite common to see. It's possible somebody took these off and put them back on and that did it. But either way, that is a defect, but it does not currently affect the way that they function. The gold hardware is in pretty good shape. You do have quite a bit of wear right here on the bridge. You can see where it's been worn off, as well as on this stud right there, and just a little bit on the pickup covers. Take a look at the edges here. There's quite a bit of edge wear and some finish chips, as we'll see here. That's kind of the first one right there. It would be easy to touch these up. I actually have one of those black lacquer pens if you wanted me to, but I usually leave that up to the buyer. Here's some more of those areas right along here. So it's definitely a well-played guitar, but I wouldn't say it's abused, because if you look at the back, not too much buckle worming and rash, but you do still have some. This guitar appears to be all original in here. You have your Gibson pots, once again Gibson pickups. And the neck on this one is what I would say Gibson advertises as a 50s rounded profile. It's not 57 reissue super fat neck, it's just got a nice chunkiness to it. The back of the headstock's in good shape. Again, you just have some edge wear here. Now we'll take a look under Blacklight. You can see here where it glows more. That's because of somebody's sweat has kind of absorbed into the finish while they've been playing it. But everything is looking good on the face of the guitar here, as are the sides. This is definitely somebody's player, but it was well cared for at the same time. Back of the neck is also looking good. Now you're going to notice that this glow doesn't quite match the neck. That's once again because of all the sweat that has been on this neck from the guy playing it, similar to how you see it along the edges. What you're looking for is an even glow. This area right here that isn't affected by sweat does match this area in person, just depending on how much blacklight it is receiving. So no breaks, cracks, or repairs on this one. You are good to go. This guitar comes in an aftermarket hardshell case. It's not the best case in the world, but it's a lot better than the gig bag this thing was sent to me in. This is just a case I had laying around. The handle was half broken, so what I did is I just finished breaking it off. And here's a really cool way to make a makeshift handle. Grab an old electrical device that doesn't work and just cut off the power cord from it. And then you usually have a really nice thick cord that you can wrap around the existing studs to make a makeshift handle. Now it would have stayed without this tape, but I decided to do some painter's tape and then some electrical tape just to make it a little more comfortable. And it works just fine. This case has 3 clasps on the front and a clasp on the back there. And it has a blue interior. I mean, the inside of the case, it's pretty alright. You've got some decent plush padding to it. You have a compartment in here. And I do have the original owner's manual for this guitar. You can see where the lining is kind of coming up here on the top though. As far as the fit goes, yeah, it slides up and down a little bit, but as far as aftermarket cases go, this one's actually not too bad. If you think you might be interested in being the next owner of this Fireburst Les Paul Studio, feel free to contact me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Troglys, Troglys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.